Good morning, family, friends, Board of Education members, Mr. Walker, staff members, and of course our graduates. I would like to welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. Many staff members assisted in putting this together, this year more than ever. I'd like to thank Nick Tranchina and his crew, the SRPs for the decorations, Tom Scardino and Dan Parisi. I'd also like to thank Maureen Cookingham for once again publishing an incredible program. Also, a special thank you to Ms. Sykes and Ms. Herbert for their guidance they provided to this class. I'd like to extend a special thank you to our graduation committee. This group of students, parents, teachers, and SRPs met weekly with their class advisors and me to discuss and plan our 2 graduation events. To the graduates, you did not get up here alone. You had support along the way. Your parents helped you over these years, and I know they are proud of you just as we are. At no time did anyone ever imagine a graduation like this. We never imagined quarantine or the level of social restrictions. But I can tell you, these hallways were lonely. We missed seeing you throughout the day. We missed our short conversations or getting the latest news of your plans after graduation. The school just didn't have the same feeling. We were happy that you're in these hallways one more time. However, we learned a valuable lesson during this time, that life does not take place in a vacuum. No one exists alone. The more I spoke with people, one theme became evident: missing family, missing friends, missing interactions. Missing your relationships was the most taxing aspect of this time. When all this ends, please remember that the world, your world, is based on those relationships. It are the relationships you make along the way which make life special. It makes who you are and who we are. Yes, you're going to remember science and social studies, English, and all those other subjects, but you're also going to remember the relationships with your classmates, your teachers, your coaches. That is what makes Sullivan West High School special. Our world may look different, and we may be expected to do things differently. However, don't include relationships into that category. Take care not only of yourself, but each other. Good luck in whatever you choose to pursue. Thank you for being you, and thank you for making Sullivan West High School a great place to be. Congratulations. It is my pleasure to introduce Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Stephen Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Plesha. And to the Bulldog class of 2020, parents, Board of Education members, administrators, faculty, staff, and community, it is an honor to have the opportunity to speak to you for one final time before you officially become alumni of Sullivan West High School. During the past few months, I have no doubt that many people have shared with you their thoughts on the moments that you have missed out on or have had to experience differently due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And there's no question, your senior year has been significantly impacted, and some of you may feel cheated out of some of the rites of passage that you were most looking forward to. However, I want to take a moment today to offer my thoughts not on what you have missed out on, but what you have gained through this challenging senior year. As graduates who are preparing to begin life after high school, you will quickly learn or be reminded of 2 immutable truths about life. First, that life celebrates and rewards those who are unique and those whose life experiences help them stand out from the crowd. The experience of being a senior in high school during this pandemic is one that you will take with you for the rest of your lives, and it is one that I hope will serve to bond you together as a class. Life is about experiences, about memories, and about stories. This period of time will provide you with all of those things in a way that so many others will never have. The second immutable truth is that life demands perseverance, the ability to face obstacles and disappointment head-on, and to embrace the journey through all the bumps in the road. During the past few months, you have all demonstrated the perseverance to work through your disappointment and the constantly changing situation, all of which was beyond your control. You will all be better adults for having persevered through this time, and my hope for all of you is that when you face similar uncertainty and similar disappointment in the future, that you will have the support of your family, your friends, and your community the way that you did during this time. The way that you ended your high school careers doesn't define you as learners or as students in our district. The journey does. Finally, class of 2020, I want to close by expressing my sincere appreciation to each of you for the contributions that you have made to our school district community. As I was reflecting on how to articulate that feeling, I was inspired by the parking spot design painted by the class of 2020's Maggie Russell. As you know, your class was the first in Sullivan West to be able to design and paint your own parking spot. And this fall, I noticed that Maggie's design included a beautiful saying written by the author A.A. Milne. How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. On behalf of the entire Sullivan West Central School District community, we consider ourselves incredibly lucky to have been a part of your lives so far. And although it is incredibly hard to say goodbye to you, please know that the doors of our communities and our schools will always be open for you. Congratulations to the class of 2020. We're proud of you, Bulldogs. Thank you.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Carrie Sykes. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Efren Martinez. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Brandon Farragut.
Ready to go, Brandon!
Over here to green.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Nick Ramirez.
Take your mask off as well.
Guys can come up to the stage, just don't go past the line.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Matthew Peters.
Don't cross the line. Don't cross the line. Yep. I'm sorry.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Kevin O'Connor. Congratulations, Kevin.
Yeah, take your mask off.
And if you guys want to come up closer, just don't cross the line and get pictures of them. And do that.
Smile for mom.
Don't come back across this way. Don't cross.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, please let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Sean Barlow. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Nathan Wyatt.
you guys want to come up as far as the stage to take pictures?
Congratulations, Dave.
Maybe a little closer if you want. You just can't cross the silver tape.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Megan Rose. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Olivia Hendrickson. Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Albert Smith.
Great job. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Albert. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Montana Schmidt.
Great job.
Congratulations, Montana. Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Doug Muir. Congratulations, Doug.
Congratulations. All right.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Nicholas Niger. Congratulations, Doug.
That may be the winner for best mask.
Yeah.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Mackenzie Ripley. Congratulations, Mackenzie. Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Bryce Mapowski.
You go right on there, that green spot, and you can pass out for pictures, videos, whatever.
You take your mask off for the picture first.
I don't want to.
Big smiles from mom and dad. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Keratin Barrett.
Congratulations. Great job.
Congratulations, Dad. You can take your mask off. Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Phil Bergen. Congratulations, Phil. You can take your mask off for pictures. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Luis Leon Guzman.
Congratulations.
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 Stand there and take your mask off for picture.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Michael Prince.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Just go to that spot and take your mask off for picture.
Congratulations, Michael.
Go.
You could if you want, but big smiles from mom.
Never looks better
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Brooke Kloss.
Congratulations.
Take your mask off.
Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Alexa Minkler.
Just go to the student spot on stage and take your mask off for picture.
That's a cool.
Congratulations, Alexa.
Congratulations.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Maggie Russell.
Congratulations. Just go over to the screen spot and you take your mask off so your family can get some pictures.
Congratulations, Maggie. Thank you.
You take your mask off.
Smile at mom. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Kelsey Marizia.
Congratulations.
Go over to the drink spot and take your mask off over there for pictures.
Good job, Kelsey!
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Cassandra Sherman.
Okay, you need to go to the drink spot and you can take your mask off so your mom can get the picture.
Big smiles for mom. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Ashlyn Chiquetti.
Congratulations.
Good job!
And you can take your mask off for pictures.
That's my sister.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Matthew Moran.
Congratulations. You're going to go over to the dance spot, take your mask off so your family can get pictures and video.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Olivia Lopez.
Great job.
Okay, Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Gabe Campanelli. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Jared Rakowitz. You can pull your mask down for pictures. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Alan Stabler. Congratulations, Alan.
Can you talk in just a little bit more, Paul?
That's a good look.
Mr. Walker, Ms. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, John Mazurek.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, John. But you didn't shave the recording. It is my pleasure to introduce the salutatorian for the class of 2020, John Mazurek.
Welcome students, district staff, administration, board members, friends, and family. First, I would like to thank all of you for gathering with the class of 2020 and give an extra thank you to our administration for figuring out an alternative to our traditional graduation. To be completely honest, when I sat down to write this speech, I really wanted to avoid talking about everything we missed as a class. I thought, am I going to reminisce about memories of importance to us? How about speaking of significant events for our entire school? What is the message I want to convey? Will I pass out, or will I be at a loss of words? Because honestly, I didn't think I had it in me to stand up here and give a speech, and I think most of my peers could attest to that. I vividly remember just a few short years ago, freshman year, when our teachers told us that our time in high school would fly by. Back then, none of us took that seriously, as we thought we had so much time left. But here we are now, like the snap of a finger, graduating from our small town high school, and I'm extremely grateful for the memories. Many may view growing up in a small school as a disadvantage. However, my experience was filled with a sense of community and close friendships that I've had since kindergarten. From an academic perspective, this class had a supportive, yet competitive camaraderie, often resulting in academic achievements that otherwise may not have seemed important. Managing our emotions and frustrations during this pandemic has challenged us all in ways that we couldn't have imagined. But I believe it has brought us closer together as a class. We are resilient, we are smart, and we are determined to do good things in this world. We all deserve to celebrate and be proud of our achievements. While we cannot control the circumstances that we face today, we can choose how we respond to it as we take our next steps in life. It is often hard to picture what life will look like as time progresses. The only certainty we have is that as time goes on, the future will arrive. We can use this pandemic as an excuse for why we can't move on in life, or we can use it as a motivator to find our purpose. Whether we plan to go to college, trade school, the military, or straight into the workforce, there is no denying that society is gaining something worthwhile. The situation we are living in now shows us how valuable everyone in society is. The world is finally realizing the importance of the jobs of janitors, cashiers, teachers, politicians, first responders, and many more. I invite everyone to look to who you can thank and take your time to do so. Even though the door for high school has literally shut, I would like to remind everyone that another has opened and we can do with it what we want. Thank you, administration, teachers, friends, and most importantly, family, for making our high school experience unforgettable. For the class of 2020, never forget who supported us and helped shape our identity. This class is bound for success, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Arian Frazier. Mr. Walker, Ms. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Jacob DeGroat.
Great job.
You can take it all. Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Ben Reeves. Congratulations, Ben. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Zach Waldman.
That's a great match.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Charlie Riedel. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Larry Shack.
You can take it
And
now.
you take your mask off.
Congratulations, Larry. Big smiles.
There you go.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Colin Wilson.
Well done.
Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you.
Big smiles. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Carly Simpson. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Derek Hanselmeyer. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Zachary Keebler.
Congratulations.
Go to the green tea, you can go there for pictures, and you can take your mask off.
Congratulations, Zachary. You want to take your mask off, the whole mask?
The whole stage is yours.
Mr. Walker, Mr. Arzilli, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Lucas Arzilli.
Turn there and look at them.
One second. Thank you.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Enoch Peters. Congratulations, Enoch. Big smiles to the family. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Maya Barker. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Shane Cross. Congratulations, Shane.
Can I go?
Yeah.
No, stay on that side so that you won't get in front of the camera. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Hunter Mall. Congratulations, Hunter.
Thank you.
Big smile. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Nikita Parikh. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Cassandra Crowder.
You can go over that green tea right there and keep the mask on.
Congratulations. Mr. Walker, Ms. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Zachary Favre. Congratulations, Zach. Hold on. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Henry Peters. Congratulations, Henry. Graduate. Big smiles from Mom. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Emily Van Pelt. Congratulations, Emily. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Roan Gillinger. Congratulations, Roan. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Chad Mercado. Congratulations, Chad. Big smiles from mom over there. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Bryce Reimer. Congratulations, Bryce. It is my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian for the Sullivan West graduating class of 2020, Bryce Reimer.
Good afternoon, fellow graduates, family, friends, teachers, administrators, members of the Board of Education, and welcome to the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduation ceremony. What a year it has been. As Mr. O would say, it is one for the history books for sure. Plagues and epidemics have ravaged humanity throughout its existence, often changing the course of history. Many analysts argue that the world we are entering will be fundamentally different from what existed before. The global COVID-19 pandemic has given us all first-hand experience of the effect on the economy, healthcare, our government, and our daily lives. Social distancing took away what should have been the best part of our high school career. Our year ended abruptly, and our future plans may still include challenges to overcome as the continued spread of COVID-19 may remain unpredictable for many months to come. However, knowing there are so many people in this world who had to face greater hardships, we should all choose to be thankful for the memories we made during the rest of our high school years and the fact that we are here today to celebrate this milestone together. I remember vividly the summer before our freshman year when my brother said to me, "Enjoy every second of it because it goes by quicker than you would think." It seems like just yesterday that we all felt like it would be an eternity until senior year and our graduation day, but now, here we are. I hope you all enjoyed every second, or at least most of it, like I have. I hope you have enjoyed learning, playing sports, having conversations with your teachers about anything and everything, and spending time with one another as much as I have. The past few months in quarantine have made me value these moments even more. I stand here now before you all today as the Sullivan West Class of 2020 valedictorian. Growing up, I was taught to care about my education as much as I cared about sports. So like everything else, I looked at school as a competition. But the thought of being valedictorian did not actually hit me until my fellow Bryce Maypolsky, looked at me while I worked on some calc and said, "Dude, you literally won school. Can I get some help?" Being named valedictorian was very satisfying, yet I would not be here without all my classmates. There is an old proverb that reads, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your future." We have all challenged each other both academically and athletically. It is through this competition that we have learned the lessons needed to become successful young adults. Nothing is going to be given to us going forward. We will all be embarking on new journeys after today, whether it be starting a career, joining the military, or going to college. The only way we will accomplish our goals is through hard work and determination. Thomas Edison once said, "The reason a lot of people do not recognize opportunity is because it usually goes around wearing overalls looking like hard work." Going forward, it will be our responsibility to recognize these opportunities, put in the hard work, and become the best version of ourselves. If you were to ask any one of my classmates to describe me in one word, I'm sure their word of choice would be baseball, because baseball has been my passion for many years. So naturally, this speech, like many of my others, is going to include a baseball quote. The greatest player of baseball history, Babe Ruth, once said, "Every strike brings me closer to the next home run." In other words, never let the fear of failure get in your way. Watching all of us grow up these past years, I have never seen any one of us be afraid to fail. We are a resilient and innovative class, and I believe we have emerged a stronger group of young adults from this pandemic experience. But most importantly, we have so many people to thank for this graduation day. The high school staff and administrators have worked tirelessly to plan a live graduation ceremony as well as a virtual ceremony in the event New York State restrictions for in-person graduations would not be lifted. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for your support and commitment to make this the best experience for the class of 2020. We also need to thank all the men and women in our armed forces for not only the freedom and safety that we enjoy every day, but for also allowing us to chase our dreams. We thank you all for your sacrifices and bravery in defending our great country. Thank you to our teachers for providing us with a great education, guidance, support, and for putting up with us daily. We are beyond thankful for the bonds that we developed with you all. To us, you are all much more than teachers. You are role models, and we can say that you have all helped us get to where we are today. Whether that was sparking our interest in new sciences, offering college advice, talking to us about life and baseball, or just being there to talk to. We could not have been more fortunate to have you in our lives. To all of our coaches, we cannot thank you enough. You have sacrificed countless hours that could have been spent with your own families to make sure that we not only enjoyed, but succeeded in sports. To Mr. Kirk, Mr. Haverly, and Mr. Eggleton, thank you for everything you have taught me. You have showed me that baseball was more than just a game of numbers and statistics. It is a family, a bond, everlasting. An everlasting bond that is made to last a lifetime. You all have had such a profound influence on my life and have helped to shape me into the player that I am today. To all our families and friends, we would not be here without you. You have provided words of wisdom, motivation, and encouragement, and we are thankful to have had you on this journey with us. On a personal note, I would like to thank my family. Without them, I would not be the young man that I am today. Mom, Dad, Brett, and Brad, thank you for your love, encouragement, guidance, and support, and for always inspiring me to be the best man that I can be, both academically and athletically. You have made my dreams your biggest priority, and for that I can never repay you, unless I make the big leagues, that is. As we leave this chapter ready to embark on new adventures, I wish my class the best of luck wherever their life may take them. I wish you all good health, much success, and lots of happiness. I would now like to end with a quote from our President, Donald Trump. "No dream is too big, no change is too great. Nothing we want for our future is beyond our reach." Thank you.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Nicholas Doretsky. Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you.
Good smiles, come on. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Michael Rydell. Congratulations, Michael. Mr. Walker, Ms. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Aiden Lowens. Congratulations, Aiden. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Julianne Fagenbutz.
Great job.
Congratulations. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Edward Barrett. Congratulations, Ed. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Nicholas Mills. Congratulations, Ed. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Ruth Hominick.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ruth. Any pictures?
Yeah.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present the Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Ryan Kocher. Congratulations, Ryan. It is my pleasure to introduce the president of the class of 2020, Ryan Kocher.
Good morning to the class of 2020, teachers, administrators, family members, board members, and friends. We're gathered here today in a bit of a unique way. For the past few months, our lives have been greatly impacted by the effects of coronavirus. Our worlds have been completely flipped upside down. We missed out on one of the most memorable years of our life. We missed our last sporting events, our last concerts, our last color wars, our last prom, and all the other goodbyes that we should have had. But it's not just us. Our community has suffered as well. Despite these hardships, we are here today. We are here today because we are standing tall against this pandemic, and we will accept nothing short of normalcy. So, as a gift to this school and community, the class of 2020 will be putting up a new flagpole in the sporting fields of Ardent High School. Let this serve as a symbol of how we, as a community, stood tall in these unprecedented times. Nothing in our lives is guaranteed. We hope that when you look to this new flagpole, it helps you think of our strength. We hope that you make every moment count, because you never know when a see you Monday will turn into a see you at graduation. Although a disease that's sweeping around the globe decided that this chapter of our lives was over, we still get to say goodbye today. This ceremony is our goodbye to all of you. So thank you to our school, our community, parents and friends for your support and for making this day possible. And to the class of 2020, we know that you will all accomplish great things, and we can't wait to see where your lives take you. Thank you.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate, Rachel Dungeon. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Maggie Herbert.
Great job.
Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Ishmael Aldemijed. Congratulations. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Alex Hotel. Congratulations, Alex. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Mason Ryan.
Great job.
Congratulations. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Montana Schmidt.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Montana. Mr. Walker, Ms. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Veronica Lobato.
Great job.
Congratulations, Veronica. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Morgan Croft.
Great job.
Congratulations, Morgan. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Morgan O'Connor. Congratulations. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Benjamin Kelly. Mr. Walker, Mrs. Joyce Turner, let me present Sullivan West Class of 2020 graduate Ronnie Gore. Congratulations, Ronnie.